Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Martin with The Contoured Chemist. Can you believe the summer is over and it is already time for a new Shades of the Season? It's dropping this week. I can finally share the deets. So let's go ahead and do all the comparison swatches and 3 eye looks to go. Home Sweet Home collection from Seint. So if you want to check it out, please keep watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and thanks for being here. All right, mark your calendars, August 15th, 10 a.m. The new Home Sweet Home collection will be dropped, as well as all of these shades individually. So they said an exclusive fall square. It looks like this one online, but I'm not positive if it is this one or not. Just a heads up, it might be a little bit different, but you will get a square that has room for 4 and the half brush cleaning tile in the collection. You have until October 31st to get them while supplies last. Doesn't mean they can't sell out before then, but we only have, let's see, this is our 3rd Shades of the Season this year. That means there's only 3 shades left. And then those will come obviously in November, December. But I'm very stoked about these shades because my probably top #1 favorite shade from the entire Advent calendar collection is finally available because it is so unique and it is stunning. And that is this shade Home. And then we also have Lemon Drops and Peppermint. I went ahead and did my face. I have a nice blank slate. I couldn't help myself. I am wearing the new Haze Lip and Cheek. Is this color not stunning? So this is a loyalty reward shop exclusive. So as you rack up your points, you can then go and redeem and get this shade. You cannot buy it individually. You have to use your reward points. I feel like it's very similar to some of the purples we had, maybe a little bit cooler than Mulberry. I don't think is available anymore. So if you had your eyes on that one, this shade is beautiful. Like, let me just swatch it. It feels like a semi-gloss. It's very much like a mauve tone. See, I feel like Mulberry was warmer than this, but it pulls a little bit warmer on me since I have warm undertones, but it is stunning. So highly recommend this shade if you have some rewards to spend. And then on the lips, I felt like this color just went perfectly with it. I just got this in PR and it's really nice. This is the Wise. They just launched in Sephora. This is Molly Sims skincare line, but this is beautiful. It's called Like a Gloss Hydrating Lip Tint. And I feel like the color is exactly like this. This is the color Class Act. And this is a really hydrating lip gloss. Always looking for something that behaves like a gloss that actually will rehydrate my lips. So I'm not having to put on some kind of lip balm and then put a lip gloss over it. I really do like this formulation. So you'll probably see me using this on repeat. This color is like a perfect comparison, in my opinion. It will also go really well with these shades we're about to demo. So let's go ahead and swatch. Okay, I'm gonna start off with the lightest one, which is Lemon Drop. Now, I'll be honest, when I first saw this color and swatched it, I was like, it kind of looks like Blondie. But here's the thing, the formulation is different. So upon initial color, let's see if I can do this. It gives a very similar color to Blondie. Here is Lemon Drops, here is Blondie. You can probably tell even in the 10, anything marbled is a very finely milled shimmer. So that's why I've told all of you guys that have mature eyes like me, if you don't like chunky shimmers, you're looking for the most finely milled shimmers, especially if you have texture on your eyes, the marbled. Pick up the marbled while you can. Blondie next to Lemon Drop, okay? Lemon Drop, finely milled. Blondie, chunky. It was one of those shades that I always told you guys, if you have texture, mature eyes, steer clear of. It just can lead to more fallout, and it will emphasize texture more so than anything finely milled, which makes sense. And then also Goldie Powder Illuminator. If you have this already, because now it's no longer available, they did discontinue it. It also was chunky. It reminded me very much like Blondie, but it was almost, I don't want to say more pigmented. It just, they were all so similar. Can you see that? So in terms of color, the colors are all very similar. I feel like on camera, you might not be able to pick it up, but Lemon Drops is brighter. So I feel like it catches light and is lighter in tone. And these are a little bit darker, not much. It's not much. So if you already have Blondie and Goldie, or if you only have one, but you wish it was a little bit more finely milled, then you would like Lemon Drops. So I always used to use Blondie to brighten, especially if I was doing some kind of gold look, because I like wearing gold. But this would be my pick. I would grab this over this one any day, because it's not going to emphasize, especially in this inner corner. Just it's not even a comparison. So color comparison, similar. Formulation, not close. Seint describes it as gold, white, and brown marble. That it's a bronzy gold shimmer. I would not classify this bronzy at all. It's a light gold shimmer, more of like a yellow gold shimmer, not a neutral gold, not a bronze gold. It is a light yellow gold. They say it's between Goldie and Blondie. I think it's lighter than both. So these two are more similar in texture and color, way more fine. I classified it as a 1 or 2, meaning you can use it to highlight inner corner. Under brow, if you have warm undertones, you can get away with a color like this because it is that warmer yellow gold. If you have cool undertones, I would not recommend it under the brow. I would probably keep it more as like a 2 shade on your lid. Next is the shade Peppermint, also a marble. They describe this one as a pink marble with gold shimmer. Now here's the thing. This shade to me, I feel like does not translate on camera with a gold shimmer at all. So if you're looking at that and you're like, what are you talking about? To me, it almost looks like a more icy, when you think icy, you think white, bright, that's cool. More of a cool, icy shimmer than actual gold. They say it is a creamy payoff reminiscent of Towanda. So let's compare. So there is, oh, that was a bad swatch. So there, when I look at it in natural light, it doesn't look gold whatsoever, especially next to actual gold shadows. It looks more of like an icy white, cool tone shimmer, which makes it very different than Towanda, in my opinion. Towanda is one of my all-time favorite shades because it has that gold shimmer undertone, and you can apply it real lightly and just get that shimmer payoff. And I do feel like you can do that with all of these shades because they are those marbles. So here's Towanda, you can see, well loved. And you can almost see the like bright, icy white shimmer of Peppermint. I don't know if you'll be able to see on camera or not. This is Peppermint, this is Towanda. And I feel like that's why it's real deceiving, because I've always considered Towanda one of those that kind of shifts and changes color, where it looks kind of pink, but then as it shifts, you see the gold instead, and it doesn't look super pink. They are both similar in that way, but I feel like when I look at them side by side, you almost see a little bit more pink with the peppermint and more of that icy shimmer. But I can see why they compared these two, because they are similar. Okay, so here is Towanda and here is Peppermint. And I don't know if you'll be able to see the gold shift or, so do you see how they are very similar? I feel like on camera, Peppermint's pulling a little bit darker pink than Towanda. And then I feel like as it's sheared out, I actually do see a little bit of gold shimmer with Peppermint. So maybe it's more upon how you apply it. And when you're wearing a real light wash of it, you might be able to see more of that shimmer, less of the pink. Very similar to how I wear Towanda. So I used to show it all the time just with the edge of the eyeshadow brush like this, and then just doing a wash on the lid. So you just see that like rose gold shimmer and not the pigment. I definitely feel like you could do the same thing with Peppermint, especially if you're not really into pink on your eyes. I love pink eyeshadow. I feel like it's one of the most natural looking shades on my eyes without just going with all nudes. It's one of my favorites, but some people are very anti-pink. So there is those two. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch what I would say would be the closest other ones. So we're gonna go Sis, which is way more icy. Do you see that? And then Soulmate is even lighter than this, way more white. So if you compare it to Sis, it is very different. If you have Sis and you would want something a little bit warmer, I do find it warmer than Sis, but less warm than Towanda. So I think it really is kind of right there in the middle. And then let's go ahead and do Peppa, which is one of the least shimmery pink shades we have. I feel like it goes on a little bit more satin and is a very nude pink, especially on my arm. It's even hard to see. This is the one I keep in my daily rotation because it just looks so neutral on my skin tone. I wear it all the time. And then On Wednesdays is one that also is considered a shimmer, but is the least shimmery shade in our entire line that's called a shimmer, because it's almost, like I said, like a satin. So in order of shimmer, you can probably tell these are gonna be really shimmery, and then we have Peppa, and then we have On Wednesday. So if you're loving matte shades, On Wednesday would probably be your bet. You probably wouldn't want to go with something as shimmery as Peppermint. Marble shades are really finely milled, beautiful shimmers, but you definitely cannot call them anything close to a satin or a matte, just a heads up. They complement our mattes beautifully. I personally would never be able to wear this anywhere close to my crease or up in this region. They are lid only. Again, lemon drops I could use as a brightener, but have I ever tried this as a brightener? I don't think I've ever tried Towanda as a brightener. It doesn't quite have the same reflection as something lighter in tone does. So this would be like a 2-3 shade lid shimmer. So inside corner, you know, a third of the eye, halfway on the eye, or the entire eyelid is what I use these type of shimmers for. I saved the best for last. I saved my favorite for last, at least. And this is Home. Now, I will be honest, I don't agree with Seint's description of this in the least. Sorry, I love Seint, but okay. They did say it's a marble. I never thought this was a marble because the rest of them are clearly have different tones within them. This one I I don't see any different tones. They said a blue violet shimmer. I agree with that. And they said it's mauve. I do agree with that. But they called it a warm contrast to holly. This is holly. I'm guessing that was a typo because there is nothing similar to holly in this shade whatsoever. Holly was just discontinued. It's like a warm brick red matte. Not really sure what they were talking about. So I don't know if they were trying to compare it to Bend and Snap or Gigi. Those are the two closest in my opinion. Neither are alike also in my opinion. So here's what it looks like. You can see the blue shift. I thought this was a duochrome. Not really sure why they're calling it a marble because it has no flex and it most certainly shifts. So just my opinion. Here's what it looks like on my finger. Do you see how it's mauve, yet you see the shift of blue shimmer? Holy moly, it is the most stunning shade. This is my favorite of all of them by far. It's just beautiful. So let's go ahead and swatch it. Find a place. We have nothing else like this in my opinion because it has that shift. Now the base of it I feel like is very similar. It's definitely a cool tone shade. It's in the mauve family, so if you like purples and blues, it doesn't pull super blue on the eye, it just has that shift. So me personally, I wear blues every once in a while, but it's not something I'm gonna wear daily. Like this, just thrown on the lid with like a warm crease, my fave. So let's compare it to Bend and Snap. So you can probably tell they're not quite the same. Bend and Snap is definitely a favorite of Minnie. It's more of it's lighter. It's definitely more mauve. Doesn't have near the shimmer. I feel like I can't do justice with these swatches on the camera. And then I always thought Bend and Snap and Gigi were similar. Here is Gigi next to Home. So Gigi is darker than Bend and Snap. So I feel like it's probably the most similar to Home, but you can probably tell Home is definitely still a little bit deeper. Again, not nearly as shimmery, and doesn't have that shift. So these are just straight up cool. No kind of duochrome-ness to it. I still would call this one. I would still call this a duochrome. I would not call it a marble. It doesn't behave like the marbles do. So yeah, I'm thinking that might just be a typo. So Home, Bend and Snap, Gigi, nothing else is like this. None of the blues come close because none of them have that mauve base. If you like those but want something just a little bit different, I highly, highly recommend this shade. It is so fun, and it's just, all of these shades are so easy to wear, which is why I love this collection. All of these can be an easy 2-shade look. You could pop any 3 of these on the lid with a crease shade and walk out the door. That's what we're gonna do. Let's create some eye looks so that you guys have some inspiration. Okay, let's go ahead and start off with a nice, easy base. You could add any of these shades to. I have mostly mattes here in my daily compact. And I'm gonna go ahead, let's see, we have both warm, cool. Pinks are one of those weird ones where technically it's warm. If it has a warm shimmer, it falls more warm. If it has a cool shimmer, it can pull a little bit more cool. And then this one's definitely cool. So we're just gonna go ahead and create one with, and we'll do one side with lemon drops and one side with peppermint. And I'm gonna do something different for our final look. Okay, starting off with a nice base using my magic eraser shade, which is Chai, and I'm just gonna run it all over both lids so that I have a nice blend into my crease. I'm gonna keep it simple with my all-time favorite crease shade, which is Sedona. 4-5 shade, it's warm, very neutral, looks good with everything in my opinion. And that way I can use a really light hand or build up more. And I'm just gonna do this entire look with the eyeshadow brush. And we're just gonna slowly build into the crease, opening up the eye to make sure we can see it. The eye open, blending it up towards the temple. No harsh lines, and then flipping it over and giving some definition to that lower lash line with the same shade. We're just gonna repeat. Okay, moving to our shades of the season, let's go ahead and just do real simple. First of all, on this side, let's go ahead and use Lemon Drop only to brighten. So say you want a really easy, quick eye, you have that Chai on, or whatever your magic eraser is on your lid. You can use it to blend out whatever your crease color might be. You can choose literally any matte you want to carve out your crease, and then just pick up this shade, pop it in the inner corner, right where you have no texture. It suddenly brightens up your eyes. I'm gonna just take excess under the brow so you can see. It still looks natural, but it just lifts and completes the look. So really easy, all matte, and then I'm just gonna brighten. So that is option number one. Option two, use it on the lid. You can do a light wash. Just use the side of your eyeshadow brush and then just kind of dust it on the lid, keeping it out of the crease. Or use your finger, picks up more product. You can just concentrate it on that inner corner. You can even use this small brush and just bring it up a little bit from the tear duct. Then use your magic eraser if you need to clean it up, or if you need to add more depth, or outer corner with your crease. Option two. On this side, let's do the same thing with Peppermint. I'm gonna use that brush cleaning towel to make sure I don't have any of Lemon Drops left on my brush. And then we're gonna do the same thing. I'm not gonna brighten with this color because you can see it's a little pink for that, but I am gonna just do a nice wash over the lid so you can see that it doesn't look pink when you use a little bit. It just adds a touch of shimmer to the eye. So say you want the pink to actually show up a little bit more. That's, again, you can pick up the multitasker, a brush that will really press it on, or I like to use my finger. Something about the oils in your finger will make color payoff stand out more. So I'm gonna concentrate this in the inside corner. I feel like this shade is so shimmery, but yet it still does not look super pink to me. even in the mirror. And then I'm gonna just step it up a notch. I'm gonna get the remainder off my brush, and I'm gonna lean into the pink look. I'm gonna take a little bit of Claire, which is a matte, and bring it up above my hood to kind of tie in more of that pink tone, deepen the crease. If you guys have seen, I like to mix Claire and Sedona all the time to kind of create a little bit more of a pinky nude matte. A little bit of pink under the eye. And then let's try something in the outer corner. So many of my favorite of those deep matte burgundy shades got discontinued. So I guess I'll just have to go in with Cocoa or Revival. Let's just stick with Cocoa, maybe add a little bit more neutrality. I feel like Cocoa still pulls a little warm. So we're gonna use the smudge, and I'm just gonna kind of create this into a night look by adding some depth at the outer corner. So you can go easy, 2 shades, or step it up with a little bit more interest on the hood and depth there. And then of course, a little bit of liner. Let's just go one deeper into Revival with the etch brush. And I'm gonna use this side just to push a little bit of depth at the lash line. A little bit on the lower lash line as well. And there is our nighttime look. All right, I took those eyeshadow looks off, went ahead and re-primed my eyes, color corrected, powdered, so that I have a nice base ready for our last eyeshadow look. Because the shade is darker, you can do one or two things. You can either keep it on the lid outside corner, or if you're gonna take it all the way across the eyelid, you wanna make sure there's enough contrast between this shade and your hood. If they blend together too much, it's gonna look like all one color or a difference in tone and depth. A lot of people would probably pull for something like Lullaby as your mid-tone matte because it's like the same color family, but that is when you're gonna get into it all blends together. It's not gonna have enough contrast between the two to really carve out your eye in the way you'd like. So this, I'm gonna go ahead and use something that maybe is gonna be a little bit too close. So here is Home, here is Oak, which is a fabulous 4-5 shade. Gives a lot of like natural shadow into the crease, and I feel like it's really gonna carve out the eye well, but these two, you can probably tell by looking, they're probably gonna blend in together a little bit too much. And so for me personally, I have to add some warmth in there in order to break that up. So I'm gonna use something very warm and contrasting, which is Butternut. In the same way I kind of use Claire. So let's go ahead and start off with Oak in the crease. And this is very cool for me. So if you have warm undertones like I do, you might find this shade hard to blend out. And that's when you use a warmer tone to help you blend. Cooler tones in general can be just harder to blend and can go on patchy no matter your skin's undertone. But you see how much like shadow it adds, like right there where you have that natural crease of your eye. Like it really will intensify your eye's own contour by using very little. Oak is one of those shades I feel like everybody needs in their collection. And it makes a beautiful smoky eye. which again, everyone needs to be able to have in their arsenal. Even though I have that in my eyes, like natural crease, natural, I keep saying crease. I guess it's a crease. Natural eye socket. You want to bring that shade a little bit up so it doesn't disappear when your eyes are open. So up, and then here's where I'm gonna bring in, actually no, I lied. I'm gonna go ahead and show you what home looks like with just the shade so you can see how it will blend in. And I am going to use my finger so you guys can really see this chrome shade pop. So into the inner corner, and we're gonna go ahead and just keep it on the lid. All the way across the eye. And I feel like you can't see the blue shift on camera quite like you can here, but I do feel like it looks, like, especially on camera, it looks like all one color all over my eye, which is what we do not want. So there's home. Now, how can we make it look better? I'm gonna take a warm tone, and first I'm going to blend where this is not blended. All the way up. Keeping that shadow in the crease, but making sure this is gonna be like a transition. And because I have a very large lid space, now if you don't have a shade like this, a bronzer will work. A powder bronzer, use something warm. It can always help you blend out a cool toned shadow that's maybe not giving you the best transition or looking patchy. You can go straight in right on top of it if it's looking patchy, and I promise it helps blend things out seamlessly. So I'm gonna use this all the way under the eye. See how much better blended that already looks? Then I'm gonna go back in with Oak in the outer corner of the lower lash line. We'll add that depth there. Now, because this home was cool and so was my crease, I'm gonna bring in a little bit of warmth. I'm just gonna use the same shade that I used for the last look, which is Cocoa. I feel like everyone needs a dark warm brown, which is Cocoa, and a dark cool brown, which is Trust. And both of those are going to be used the most when it comes to looks like this. If you've got two warms, put in a cool. If you've got two cools, put in a warm. So I'm gonna go in with my warm, and this is gonna break up right in between those two. So I'm gonna just tap it on with the smudge, outer corner, and then right in between the two in the crease. It won't take much. And suddenly that outer corner looks blended and finished, whereas before it looks kind of patchy. So tap, tap, tap. Flip. You can see, because that color is a little bit deeper in intensity, causes you to have to use a little bit of darker colors. So you can also just do a light wash and get very little pigmentation, or you can press it on and get the most color payoff and really get more of a dramatic look. But like, the way this catches the light is stunning. So I am gonna finish this off with black liner Because of the depth, I feel like it needs a little bit of that black to define the lash line. So we're gonna go in black liquid liner as thin as possible across just the upper lash line. The On Point brush and Kohl, which is like a dark charcoal cool eyeshadow. And I'm just gonna draw that right over that line to kind of smoke it out, set it, and soften it. I'm gonna finish off the look by just brightening with a little, whatever your favorite highlight shade is. Mine is Drift. That's how, no matter your undertone, you can wear a cool or a warm tone. We used both. We used cool, warm, and it balanced the look. No matter what your so-called seasons or your colors are, you can wear eyeshadows that are fun and that you're drawn to, even if it's not necessarily in your season. I believe anyone can look good in any color with the right combination. That's my TED Talk for the day. So there you go. There's this finished look. There's all of our shades of the season. Home Sweet Home collection. Remember, it launches August 15th, 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time while supplies last. If you're wanting a full eyeshadow color match, I'm still doing those. Be patient with me. I'm gonna have to slowly be updating everything because we just discontinued so many eyeshadows. Just take note, there might be some shades on there that are no longer available. We still haven't heard what the plan is. I don't know if more are coming. As soon as I know something, you guys will know as well. If you're needing help with your Seint 3D foundation, I do separate custom color matches for those as well. So I will put both links in the comment as well as the description box under the video with everything I used for this look. So until next week, keep experimenting with your makeup and have fun. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Love you.